If I could have your attention, please. Thank you for your patience. We want to welcome everyone here at the chapel, as well as all of you that are viewing the service from online. Just a gentle reminder for those of you that are here at the chapel, if you have a cell phone with you, please place it in the silent mode or turn it off completely. That would be appreciated. Officiating Lori's service is her husband, Raphael.
Relatives and friends, which are numerous, on behalf of our family, thank you all for coming today to pay tribute to Lori Marcia Isaacs Lavin, my wife, and hear her life story. Before I begin, I want to pay homage to my grandfather, who schooled me in both knowledge and an appreciation for the Tanakh, the Torah, the Nevi'im, the Kesuvim, the Bible, the prophets, and the writings. It is with this knowledge that I've been able to come to grip with this loss and the meaning of life. Most recently, we celebrated the holiday of both Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, where the main prayer is Unsana Tokef, which talks about who will live, who will die, and unfortunately all the different ways that a person will perish. I would often nudge my seatmate, Walter, and say, Walter, mi yoanuach u'mi yoanua. Not necessarily who will be at peace, but who will be tormented. In chapter 3 of Ecclesiastes Koheles, a chapter more recently popularized by the Byrds and their song, To Everything Turn, Turn, it says, there's a season for everything. La kol zaman v'yesachol chayfetz tachas hashamoyim. A time to be born and a time to die. While time is endless, as mortals, we're only gifted an unknown X of days and years. With that said, one of my favorite Psalms that the late Colonel Goodman introduced me to when we first came to the Lakeshore Drive Synagogue is called Tefillah L'Moshe. I'll read it in the Hebrew and then I'll give you the main excerpts in English. Tefillah L'Moshe Ish Elohim Adonai Ma'onato Hoyisa Lanu Bedor Vador. B'terem Horim Yuladu Vatacholel Eretz V'Sevel Umilom Ad Olam Ato El. Toshev Enosh Ad Daka Vatomer Shuvu V'nei Odom Ki Elef Shalim Bi Enecha Ki Yom Esmol Ki Yavor V'Yashmurav Alayla Samartom Shenoyu Baboker Kechoser Yechalof Baboker Yosis V'Chalof Lo Erev Yimolel V'Yavesh Ki Cholinu B'Apecha V'Chamoscha Nivholu Shetei Avosenu L'Negdecha Alumenu Limod Ponecha Ki Chol Yomenu Ponu V'Yavrasecha Ki Linu Shoninu Chimo Hege Yemesh Noseim Bohem Shivim Shona V'Migvor Shmonim Shana V'Rabom Omom V'Amon Ki Goz Ish V'Anufo Mi Yodea Ozapecha V'Chrescha Evrosecha Limno Shomenu Kein Hoda V'Navi Levav Chochma Shu Adonai Ad Mosai V'Nochem Alavedecha Sabenu Baboker Chasecho Unrano V'Disbecho B'Chol Yomenu Sabchenu Kimos Inosenu Shanos V'Inu Hurala Yoreh El Aladecha Kula V'Adorcha Abdehem V'Hinoam Adonai Eloheinu Olenu Maseyenu Konoi Olenu Maseyenu Kodenehu. The two takeaways from that famous psalm is it says the length of a man's years is 70 years or 80 years. By reason of strength, 80 years. For it's only toil and futility, and speedily we fly away. Teach us to attain a heart of wisdom. And it really was during the past weeks when Lori was sick that I came to grips with that, and everything became rather clear. I guess that's through wisdom. There is a great poem written by a local poet, editorialist by the name of Epstein, Joseph Epstein. And he writes as follows: "We do not choose to be born. We do not choose our parents or the country of our birth. We do not, most of us, choose to die, nor do we choose the time and conditions of our death. But within this realm of choicelessness, we do choose how we live." We received an email from Marcy Malter that I really thought encapsulated what life is all about, and I'd like to read it to you. "Hi, I wanted to reach out to let you know that I'm thinking about you. I just hung up the phone with Jackie, and the love and admiration she feels towards you, as I'm sure you know, is so incredibly special. You two have a bond that is truly a testament to the both of you, and that kind of friendship is a very special gift. Jackie also shared with me what an amazing son you have, and that she is in awe of the kind of person he is. What an accomplishment, Lori, to raise such a caring, loving son. My father was a professor at the University of Chicago and tells a wonderful story of having lunch one day with Milton Friedman and Saul Bellow, both of whom won Nobel Prizes. And they were talking about the meaning of success, and collectively they came up with the meaning of success is having a long-lasting relationship with another human being. You certainly have that with Ray, your son and daughter-in-law, sister, grandkids, and friends. What a wonderful legacy you have, and you've achieved the best kind of success there is. I have been impressed with your strength, your warmth, your zest for life, your style, and of course your tennis game. With much love and admiration." On May 24th, 1952, at Edgewater Hospital, sometime that evening, a nurse came out to announce that a baby girl had been born. As there were about 7 men sitting there, when the nurse asked who the father was, they all stood up or signaled. That was because Yale's pinochle game got moved to the hospital, where Elaine was in labor. Those in attendance were Lori's father, Yale, Arthur Goldstein, Joe Freed, Jerry Margolis, someone called Lunkhead, and Sid Haber, and another crony. All these men came from humble beginnings, had fire in their belly, and made successful marks in their respective careers. What makes this story so special is they all lived close by in Longacre Meadow in Northbrook. It was from those humble beginnings that lifelong friendships were formed that transcended to the next generation. Arthur and Joan Goldstein had a daughter the same age, Debbie Goldstein Berman, who would walk down the street under the supervision of their respective mothers to play together. Debbie, who is here today, has been Lori's longest friend of almost 7 years. With success after the World War II, the Isaacs, like others, moved from Northbrook to a home at 320 on Aspen Lane, where Lori grew up. After Highland Park High School, which, as many of you know, she was not too fond of, she decided she wanted to go away to school and as far, far away, like the University of Arizona in Tucson. Always with an eye and flair for fashion, Lori enrolled in a merchandising career at Marshall Fields as a gun, for my other friends, and menswear underwear buyer. From there, she then moved to Hanmore, one of the first in upscale discount clothing. On the occasion of Lori's dad coming to America, there was a 50th anniversary party on a Friday night that was attended by Jordan Ross, a fellow co-congregant at Lakeshore Drive Synagogue, AKA Helm Street. When he saw me the following Shabbos morning, he said, "I have a girl for you." Since I was a confirmed bachelor for so many years, at that time I said, "Well, who is this Parshane?" Not the most flattering comment to make about someone you never met. When I called to ask her out, she said the only caveat was I had to pick her up in Highland Park and then return her to her apartment at 1 East Scott. What I found was a very attractive young woman with style and a sleek hairdo. I think she was a bit perplexed as to this character, me, as I was decked out in brown corduroys and cowboy boots in May. While driving to the city for dinner, I commented that her dress looked like a little pillow ticking and asked if she knew that she was wearing two different earrings that didn't match. She politely let me know that the dress was a Norma Kamali and that the long teardrop was a fashion statement earring different than the other on her lobe. Ironically, at dinner, we were seated next to Gino Rossi, the Rosenberg brothers from pseudo leather fame, the Schmata guys. For a former metals recycling guy, this was an industry totally foreign to my headset. After that strange beginning, we began to like one another and see each other often. After a few months, Lori asked if I had my track shoes on and was getting ready to bolt to some other girl, as had been my pattern. She was getting restless and did not want to spend any more time in a relationship that was going nowhere. As winter set in and things became more serious, we decided to see how it would be vacationing together in Mexico. Unfortunately, I listened to a client in Dubuque, Iowa, who said that if I was going to Zihuatanejo Ixtapa, why not drive from Acapulco, then take 2 flights? We are lucky we survived as we drove through some challenging terrain, laced with federales and some banditos we encountered who were wearing 2 bandoleros and long rifles. One of the desperados gave Lori a not-so-endearing look with a twinkle in his eye and communist signs emblazoned in yellow and red on large rocks. Somehow, we escaped a bad omen and got to Ixtapa, where we had a great time. As New Year's was coming, Lori was hoping and somewhat primed for a marriage proposal. Unfortunately, that did not happen. It was shortly after that I took her to what was then Seal Blue, which is on East Oak Street, and I presented her with a contract for the position of wife, which she accepted. Anyway, after her retailing career started at, as I said, Marshall Field's handwear, she had a friend in New York who was Chaim Edelstein, who was with Abraham and Strauss. And he said, if you really want to make a mark, you really have to, in retailing, you have to move to New York. She said, well, I'm not going to New York. He said, well, there's a new startup called Main Street, and you might fit in well there. And Lori did take that position where she was a menswear buyer and designer. My one regret is she took 14 trips overseas, and I never accompanied her, unfortunately, because my dad was ill. But what she did was somewhat like her tennis game. She would try and figure out what are the patterns, okay, what are the color schemes, and then how do we do the SKUs? How many small, how many medium, how many large, how many extra larges, 2, 3, 5, 2, depending on how the shape of America was moving at the time. But it's really that type of thinking that also applied to her tennis game. Anyway, Lori had 4 key components that really defined her: family, friends, tennis, and what I call JCB. Family. After working at Main Street, when it was later acquired by Kohl's, she decided it was time to retire and give up her career. She focused on raising Benji with the help of Ruth, our housekeeper, for over 25 years. We took many family vacations to Mexico, Ixtapa, Manzanillo, Cabo. We visited my in-laws, Elaine and Yale, in their house in Longboat for Thanksgiving, where Benji was taught how to fish by his grandfather. We tried to nurture Benji's education from Apple School, where he was well known with his cockamamie rotor hat, and then on to Ansham at day school, where he made lifelong friends. While I focus on the intake of school contributions, Lori co-chaired 2 major fundraisers where she introduced successful gambling nights. After Bezaides, Bernard's Ansham at day school, Benji went to lab, which he considered a job as well as an education. Playing singles varsity tennis for 3 years were happy times. I only missed one match, where we always loaded up the car with a cooler with drinks, snacks, and bandages. As Benji was turning 16, Lori said, why not get him a car and a new car? Her joy in making that happen was only surpassed by giving him the keys to his new blue BMW. And as my friend Walter said, did it come with a picture of Hitler? When Benji went to the American University, we flew to Washington, where Lori had all the needed dorm room supplies shipped to the hotel for later installation. The next highlight was having his own apartment on Mass Avenue, starting his sophomore year. Lori got a copy of the floor plan and totally designed the layout of the furniture and what was needed, including the type of James Bond posters and framing of those. She even flew up early to start the IKEA furniture assembly. That beautiful apartment was finished out soup to nuts, both with milk and meat dishes and a complete bar. After graduation, Benji attended John Marshall Law School, and you cannot imagine both her and the GOG, that's what Elaine was fondly called, pride, when Benji graduated. It was with Bots, that's Marla, with her help, to get Elaine to be Benji's benefactor for law school and his successor LLM degree from NYU. You cannot imagine the enormity of her pride in seeing that happen. Friends, Lori and I celebrated Shabbos, as Rabbi Shlomo Riskin was wont to say, an oasis in time differently. In the early years, I would go to my parents' home and then walk with my dad to shul, and then return for lunch and a Shabbos nap. Lori would meet Bat, who lived down the street, about 300 steps, and go play tennis at East Bank. From there was manicures, shopping at Saks, Terry D's, and any and all other fashionista-type stores. Returning home later that afternoon, we would typically go out to dinner with friends or by herself. As my parents aged and Pesach became more difficult, the Sidorim shifted to our house. After my family business divorce, we created a new family of friends where we hosted over 76 Sidorim, inviting 20-plus guests or more, and in essence, over 1,500 people through our doors. Lori hated Pesach because of all the labor in changing over the kitchen with separate dishes. But as she knew how important it was, she did it, and with a flair. She cooked, made Grandma Libby's gefilte fish in her special pot, chicken soup with meatballs, rock Cornish hens, brisket, and gastronomical desserts to include not only a beautiful assortment of fruit and berries, but all homemade. Flourless chocolate cake, sponge cake, and goo. Goo was the ground-up mandel bread and filled with parva dairy rich. It was laced with either strawberry or lime coloring. We're very special that we inherited a dear friend from my parents, Hazel Lewis Leventhal. Although initially friends with my aunt and uncle, Ernie and Betty Goldstein, they hit it off more with my parents. And Hazel, my mother, were both highly driven and successful women who exuded grace, style, wisdom, and always knew what was right. No wonder that Lori enjoyed having her always with us for the holidays. Hazel has become a fixture at our house, where she has also become a fan favorite with our guests. For many years, we celebrate with the Wizardster family, Benji's friends, and also Rissy's friends, and many, I call them Toledolians, but they're from Toledo. These were not boring seders. They were multilingual, interactive seders with masks and thrown plagues. As Lori started my collection of Passover Haggadahs, the first one being in Espanol that she picked up in Israel on a trip with her parents, and then others, the highlights were having people ask the 4 questions in a dialect foreign to them. So if you say you speak Spanish, I'll give you one in French. You speak French, I'll give you one in German or Polish. And then we also alternated rounds of songs in Hebrew or English, like Dayenu, Chad Gad and Who Knows One. At these Sidorim, the kids' friends, and sometimes even their parents, also became our friends. I received a beautiful note from Liz Grossman. She said, "Hi, Lori, just wanted you to know how much I love you, and I really appreciate not only your sense and approach to life in general, but you've always made me feel like family, and I love to be part of your family. I have so many lovely memories of your family and your home that I will never forget. I love you so much and will be part of." And then Rissy, Benji's wife, has said, "You made so many of our friends feel like family, and none of them will ever forget it." There was another beautiful message from a longtime friend, Jeff Kahn, who said, "I'm sorry that I'm not with you in person and wanted you to know that I'm thinking of you. Thank you for always being there for me. Even since I left Chicago, your birthday notes always made me smile and meant so much. You've been such an important part of my life. Benji's like the brother I never had, and much of that is thanks to you. You helped raise me, and for that, I will always be grateful. Sending you all my love." Tennis. Lori first had played at East Bank and then at Bryn Mawr. At Bryn Mawr, she was a tennis madam and worked with Tony Shinto, who got them into the North Shore League, and then later Jeff Murray. She was a captain of the team and was always figuring out positioning to win as many matches as possible, but also considering whose style of play and personality would mesh best. Two of the highlights were the ladies' guest day and mixed doubles yearly tournament, which she proudly won with Benji. She made friends whenever she played and always tried to inculcate them with the strategy of winning and not just hitting the ball back. All these tennis ladies were they are bright, successful, and lifelong learners of the game, and two friends. With such emphasis on tennis, Lori and I started going to the Southern and Western, now called the Cincinnati Open. We'd drive on a Monday to see the Monday night match, stay over, then the early matches the following day. Although not a lover of road trips, she did enjoy these to the max. We had box seats, 7, 8 rows from the baseline. We had a chance to see many of the major and some of the upcoming stars. We saw Serena, Djokovic, Andy Murray, Eisner, Tiafoe, Coco Gauff, and especially enjoyed watching Monfils. Another email that I have to read was from Ryan. This is from Ryan Zimmerman. "Hi, Lori. This is Ryan Zimmerman. Just wanted to let you know my thoughts and prayers are with you. Thinking back to all the fun Passover Seders my family and I went to, the tennis matches at Bryn Mawr, all the wonderful memories you helped make for me during my childhood. I feel really lucky that you were part of mine and my family's lives. We're all better off because of you." Charity. In addition to co-chairing 2 major fundraisers at Bezaides, Lori accompanied me on a few JUF missions to Israel and one as co-dialogues leaders with the city group. Many friendships and lots of laughs took place on that trip. Seeing my involvement with children at Bezaides caught Lori's heart and got her involved with the Jewish Children's Bureau. What a remarkable board of women, less than 20, who raised substantial monies given to JCFS, Jewish Child and Family Services, that focus on helping younger children with emotional, behavioral issues who would have a hard time fitting in a regular school. Highlights were the awards luncheon, where pizza was served, and where Lori would make her special 3-layer candy cake. The best was the model Seder put on at the Faith Knapp School. Most board members would help with the setup, people doling out the kosher chicken with far too many hairs on it for her liking, with the beans, carrots, and potatoes. It was lots of fun when other board members brought their kids to also help and see what doing good deeds was all about. Back in the day, Laura Miller, Michelle Schneider, Wendy Klepper, and Jamie Sharpman brought their kids to help and see what charity and doing good deeds was all about. Lori was a board member for 35 years and president 3 times. She especially enjoyed her term when Jamie Sharpman was treasurer. Jamie came with a legal background and an analytical mindset that caused the charity to re-examine its costs in putting on fundraisers so that the bottom line would be further enhanced. After all, it was about the kids. At the recent 100th anniversary dinner, Lori insisted on wearing 3 ball gowns. When I asked her what in God's name was that all about, she said she wanted to wear each of the gowns she had worn when she was president. And by the way, she looks stunning. To our superstar son, Benji, Benjamin J. Lavin, your mother and I could not be more proud of the man that you become. Many friends have commented on your growth, and what a pleasure to see the successful attorney and partner that you are at Catton and Trusted Estates. During this most recent cancer recurrence, we've seen your soul and caring nature. Mom said she had hoped you would turn out okay, but because of our spoiling you, maybe to an excess, she was a little worried. But then she said, no, I think we did okay. I said, yeah, I think we did. We hit the jackpot, okay? You also gave us many gifts. The thoughts of Lori, as I've described, can be subsumed into three aspects of character. One is selflessness. Selflessness, when my mother was laying in the hospital, she said, go see your mother. And I went, and unfortunately or fortunately, it was the last time I did see my mother alive. And she stayed with Benji. After the family business divorce, she said, should we pack up and move to Iowa and teach school? I said, well, I don't want to teach, and I'm not sure I really want to move to Iowa. But she would have supported me in anything I chose to do. And when undergoing radiation during the winter break, when she was her first bout with cancer, she said, well, why don't you take Benji on vacation? And unlike, or somewhat similar to that line from Fiddler on the Roof, and the czar says, because you had a bad day, why should I suffer? Why should Benji suffer? So I took Benji to England. We spoiled Benji. Like his mother, he liked fine clothes. But she would rather go barefoot than deprive Benji of a pair of Prada shoes or Tom Ford accoutrements. She had the highest threshold of pain known to mankind and never whimper. With a paper cut, I would yell and yell, Shri Vakayam, they'd hear me 2 blocks down the street. Never complained about the treatment, just the incompetence of the staff and scheduling. She also could not stand stupidity. An excellent homemaker with the bed always made before she left the house. Everything had its proper place. She cooked dinner 5 to 6 nights a week. She had a love-hate relationship with the holidays, a lot of work, but the joy of people and friends, our chosen family, around the table gave her immense pleasure. And the table, like her appearance, always with beauty, style, and flair. Most guests felt special and wanted to keep their place cards so they could come back next year. And the final act, even on her deathbed, she said, go take the kids to Red Balloon. She loved to buy dresses for the Tedster and outfits for the little mister. Take the kids to Red Balloon and buy the final outfits. Who thinks like this? One Lori Lavin, AKA Lulu, a one of a kind. The three aspects are one, selflessness that I just described. The second one is hachnosas orchim, establishing a warm and open house where guests were invited and made it to feel like true family. This is the Lavin house that Lori created where there's always room for one more. And gemilas chasodim tovim, doing kind deeds. When advised that a friend of Benji's wanted to go to American but did not have the financial resources, Lori staked her to the first semester and co-signed on a loan. Truth be told, the student went on to full scholarship, paid off the loan, and has made a success of her life. To our dear son Benji, you've always been our shining star. Keep those Jewish values dear so that we can say Lador Vodor from one generation to the next. When you chose and married Rissy, you truly gave us the daughter we never had. I cannot even begin to tell you how special she is. Another Ashes Chayil, and how thrilled we are that she is ours too. You also gave us Shelley and Tom, not just a machutin, not a friend, but family. A real family that cannot be more welcoming, warm, good-hearted, shared Jewish values of goodness, and filled with nefesh, a soul. Then you gave us two dividends, Teddy Lane Lavin and Miles Pierce Lavin, the apples of our eyes. How we marvel at the nicknames that the Tedster gave us as Ima and Kippah. Ima means mother, and Kippah, I think this might be call one, but it's not as though exactly I wore this around the house. So how she came up with, God only knows. But Mom wants you to remind Teddy, as she grows up, that Ima stands for excellent, energetic, extrasensory, effervescent, extraordinaire, and irreverent. That's because Lori could be, on rare occasions, especially irreverent. And then you gave us bonus bucks. How lucky we are to have Blair and Andrew, Taylor and Jason, and of course, Shay and Hayes. Our family is now complete because we are blessed by a family that's close and cares about one another. Keep that special gift alive. Tabat, a.k.a. Marla, your sister was dear and adored you. She loved your Shabbos afternoon routines when you lived here, and later those special sister trips to Barcelona, Paris, and recently New York. As you said so eloquently, you complemented one another. Whatever was lacking in each other's quality was made up by the other. Keep those memories near and dear. I'll miss my partner of 40 years, which in today's world can be deemed a pretty good run. Like any couple, we had our ups and downs, good times, bad times. We stuck together. I'll miss her style, flair for fashion, her sense of navigation, and being my designated driver. And all those home-cooked meals, usually 5 a week. And of course, all those beautiful holidays that we celebrated with our friends. Most of all, I will miss your support, where you always had my back and were so selfless for me, Benji, and others. You really are a Lulu, a one of a kind. To all of you who are here and those who've expressed condolences through email and notes, on behalf of our entire family, we want to thank you. In her memory, smile, have a piece of Lori's favorite candies, be like her, do a good deed. You'll feel better, the recipient will feel better, and you'll hopefully be making this a better place to live. I just want to close with a beautiful note that was sent by Nancy Garfine. It says, "You're always on my mind." And in it says, "Dear Lori, I'm enclosing another example of my arts and crafts hobby, since all 17 traits are behaviors that define you. I will miss you, my dear friend. Your persona and glowing spirit will keep you alive in everyone's memory." And I think this really describes Lori. Strength, courage, patience, wisdom, kindness, blessed, empathy, growth, honesty, worthy, compassion, warrior, dreamer, fearless, beautiful, forgiving, and grateful. Before I introduce Marla, I think it's only fitting, you have it in your leaflet. This is a it's a triple author ditty that we came up with in 1986. And it goes to the tune of 100 bottles of beer on the wall. I hope you'll sort of join with me and you'll get a sense of what Pesach had meant to us and maybe somewhat kiddingly of someone with her reverence. It goes like this. Pesach time is coming, Daddy's drinking beer, Mommy's going crazy because the holiday's almost here. Oh, Ben is eating cereal, Daddy's eating bread, Mommy's going crazy, we think she's lost her head. Oh, Pesach time is coming, we can hardly wait, the thought of eating matzah makes us constipate. Oh, Pesach time is coming, the house is getting clean, Ben and Dad are excited, and Mommy's getting mean. Oh, Pesach time is coming, store stack with Seder food. Ben and Dad are happy, but Mommy's not in the mood. Oh, Pesach time is coming. Ben and Dad are making lists. If they invite another, Mommy will be pissed. Oh, Pesach time is coming. We can hardly wait. People around the table, we really think it's great. And then we would all lift our glasses and say, Pesach, 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 the holiday is finally here, so let's all hoist a glass of wine, give little Lavelle a cheer. So that adds just a touch of levity. But now I know Marla would like to say a few words in memory of her sister.
Talk about a tough act to follow. It's amazing. This room is filled with so many loving people, and I am overwhelmed over the last couple weeks. The outpouring that each and every one of you has done to my sister. So I am Marla. I'm Lori's only and little sister. And today I feel incredibly blessed to stand here, share a few words about my amazing sister, my best friend, my protector, and my favorite travel buddy. Lori and I were fortunate to have two sensational parents, Yale and Elaine. They loved us deeply, nurturing and educating us, instilled values that have lasted a lifetime. From then, we learned the importance of family, kindness, integrity, qualities that my sister carried with her throughout her entire life. During our lifetime together, she was more than just a sister to me. She was my confidant, my laughter, my anchor in times of trouble. There wasn't a corner of life that we did not explore together, from childhood adventures to countless travels. Lori was a true force in the world of fashion. She had a brilliant career and an eye for style that was second to none. Not only did she have a knack for beauty, but she was also an incredible shopper, always knowing where to find the perfect place, the perfect piece, and at the perfect price. Her sense of style and elegance was something that defined her, and anyone who knew her could see that she carried herself with a grace and confidence that was all her own. She was also an avid tennis player, spending countless mornings on the courts, where her passion and joy were infectious to everyone around her, and that same passion filled her life in so many other ways. She dedicated herself tirelessly to Jewish charity, always giving back to the community. Her home was one of tradition and respect, a Jewish and kosher home, which she lovingly shared with Ray. Almost there. Family was her heart. Benji, she adored you. And adored you, and adored you, and adored you. Watching you grow and create a beautiful family on your own with Marissa was one of her greatest joys. She spoke always of you both and her precious grandchildren, Teddy and Miles. You were the light of her life. You are the light of her life, Marissa, and so are your kids. And you, Tom, and Taylor, and Blair, Jason, Andrew, Shelley. I know everything about you guys. There are no secrets. Lori's humor, warmth, and gentle spirit. No, I think I missed something. Lori did share a special relationship with her brother-in-law, my husband, Mort. They were pals, kindred spirits in many ways. Lori learned from Mort's wisdom, and he gained a deep appreciation from her for the love of family. Together, they shared laughter, life lessons, and a mutual respect that bound them. My sister's humor, warmth, and gentle spirit lit up every room, and she had a unique way of making everyone feel special and loved. She created memories with each one of you and each one of us, and we will carry them with us forever. As I say goodbye today, I know her spirit lives on in each of us. She taught us to embrace life fully, challenge all obstacles, love deeply, and give generously. I see her legacy in every act of kindness, every laugh shared, and every memory we hold close. This is the tough one. Just gonna miss her so much. She was the best big sister anyone could have, and so much more. You'll always be in my heart, and you are my guiding light for the rest of my life. Shalom, sister, and kiss the ladybug and the butterfly. Thanks for being here.
The final thank yous really go to Doctors Claudia Tellez and Dr. Lisa Kramer, and also Dr. Regina Stein, and also bench coach Dr. John Shaw, who gave Lori and me, us, 25 years of additional life through her cancer journey. And Acharon Chaviv, a really special thank you to Dr. Steve Hanauer, a gastrointestinal guy, where Lori had also stood up at their wedding. And he was the one who gave us the final news. And talk about compassion. You just can't say enough. It's missing, unfortunately, in many doctors today. But the way he delivered the news is something we'll never forget. Then also a special thanks to the caregivers that we had, Dorothy Rosado and Amarita Marin. And that's all because of my good friend, our good friend, Brother Perlstein, for his steadfast support of me and all my nonsense for the past 60 years. If you would all rise, I'm going to recite the final El Mole, which is a prayer said at a memorial service during Yizkor as well as at a funeral. El Mole Rachamim, Shocheim Bamromim, Hamasem Menuchonachon, Notakazal Yishlo, Bamalos Kadoshi, Bedahorim, Gazora, Kiyamas Hirman, Es Nishmas, my wife, Lori Lavin, Shochal Yalamo, Bavur Shinadr, Lori Lavin, Bas Yoel V'Elaine. Shochal Yalamo, Bavur Shinadr Stokka, Biadas Koras Shimaso, Bikanei Dem Nukaso, Lochein Balarchamim, Yasi Rebzechel Vilamim, Vizor Bizrachem Yasimaso, Adonoi Naklaso, Visonu Chamishkova, Bishalom Nomar, Amen. One last thank you. Susan Winkelstein, who I've only known for about the past 36 years, who was a funeral director and also the limo driver when my late father passed away, and who also handled these arrangements for Lori today, who also came in on her birthday. So just a very special thanks to you, Susan, and also Brother Jacobson, the proprietor of this fine establishment that does it the way it should be done.
Please be seated for a few brief announcements. The interment will take place at Shalom Memorial Park in Arlington Heights. For those of you driving to the cemetery, we will provide those vehicles with a magnetic flag for on top of your car, as well as an orange funeral sticker. And please use your bright headlights at all times, as well as your emergency flashers. And since it is Erev Shabbos, once we leave the chapel, if you can please go directly to your cars. Thank you. The Shiva will be observed Saturday evening, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Bryn Mawr Country Club in Lincolnwood, and then on Sunday at the Lavin residence. That would be from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. on the 24th floor in the party room. All this information is listed in the folder you received today and is also on our website. At this time, I want to call upon the pallbearers. Yes.
Good morning. The Shiva services will continue at the Lakeshore Drive Synagogue for the next 4 days through Thursday at 8:30 in the morning, after which there will be a little breakfast served, and we...
And l'chaim. And l'chaim.
And a l'chaim, sorry. And a l'chaim during the Monday to Thursday period. And we look forward to seeing you at those minyanim.
So if the pallbearers can please step forward. They are Debbie Berman, Jackie Chatz, Merle Greenspan, Tom Helberg, Laura Miller, Michael Perlstein, Lynn Wisnitzer, and Taylor Krawitz, and as honorary pallbearer, Mrs. Hazel Lewis Leventhal. I'll ask everyone to please rise now as we escort Lori's casket from the chapel.